Hi, I'm Gabi Almeida, also known as Mini Gabi. I'm an artist and illustrator. I painted these cute cartoon characters, and I'm originally from Brazil, and now I'm in England. So Mini Gabi I started Mini Gabi after having a head injury. I had a very silly accident and banged my forehead on a pillar. And I used to be in the music business before. I used to be a singer-songwriter, and because of my accident, I had really bad symptoms for over a year. And this time I couldn't go back to music. I certainly couldn't do any shows. So I thought I'd create a character to go and do adventures and front the band in my place. A little bit inspired by the gorillas. And yeah, so that's where it came from. It was like therapeutic. The idea was really to create this character to front the band on my behalf. But the character took over, and when I got better, it just didn't feel right to go to the music anymore. It was just so lovely to continue doing that. Mini Gabi was inspired, well, by me at first. But as I started to develop the art and the character, I started to also put some fiction. I started to kind of get inspired by other elements from my life to put into her personality. She's this girl that one day she's a bit lost in life, doesn't know what to do, and one day she just finds this magic pen. And she realizes that the pen only writes notes of wisdom, encouragement, inspiration, and things like that. And she then realizes that the pen stops working if she's not spreading the message, if she's not sharing the message. So she decides to go around the world spreading her little quotes and messages with people, so that for her and also for other people to get inspiration from it. I started as a street art musician. I used to be busking. And instead of painting, I used to get my guitar out and open the case here in London and sing and play the guitar. So I started as a guitarist and singer-songwriter. And then after a few years of busking, somebody saw me on the streets busking, and I got into an agency and I started touring with pop bands as a session musician, which was really fun. And I did that for many years, and then after that I decided to produce my own music, and so I went solo and started to do the production and the songwriting, and also playing and performing on my work. And that's when I started to do art again, because I was doing the covers and the flyers, and that's when I started to really miss doing art, because I actually come from a family of artists. My mom was an artist, and my grandparents were the art dealers. So when I went solo, I started to bring everything together, and that's what I did before I had my head injury and banged my head like a not very clever person. It was really avoidable, but I was sick for years, but that's what happened. So what brought me to the UK? I was sent here by mistake, and I still find it weird. I was just after learning English when I finished my high school. I just wasn't really sure. Well, I wanted to do music, but I couldn't really believe that I could make a living as a musician. So I thought, well, I'll take a year off, go learn English, or whatever I do will be useful. And I was planning to go and study in America, in Cambridge. But the agency that organized my trip to go to America, they were planning I was supposed to do one of those exchange things and live with a family and go to school in America, and they booked me to come to England, and I only realized a month before I came. And me and my dad and my family were like, "You are taking a flight to London London is not in America. And you know, by the time we realized that the agency had made a mistake, it was too late to change everything. So the agency said, go to England and then we can transfer you after 6 months to this school. So they sent me to Cambridge, England. So that was when I first, that was my first city. This first city I lived in England was Cambridge, and it was lovely. And then after 6 months, they sent me to America, but I just wanted to come back. I really liked England. So this collection is called Breathe, and I'm really into yoga as well as art. I'm really into yoga, self-development and cartoons, and I wanted to mix all these elements. You know, the fun part of cartoon characters, but also bring the element of yoga and meditation into it. And I wanted to create a piece that every time I looked at it or someone looked at it, it would remind them to just think about whatever their dreams are, and meditating, but instead of meditating, just the image reminding you, constantly reminding you. And also, and so that's a collection that I started in the studio, and that was the idea, just to bring inspiration so that people could attach a word or a quote or something they really want into the image, and every time they see the image they remember that, because I'm really into that. But then when I started to bring to the streets, it was kind of about bringing a little bit of calm, because I come from a very hectic city, São Paulo, and London is also hectic, and then it was just bringing a little bit of a calm element to the streets. So that's the idea. And I really like to work with this repetition, almost like printing. So for this particular collection, it worked really well to work with the stencils and just do them in different colors, and just have this, printing, repetitive, almost Andy Warhol type kind of thing. The paste ups, that was a bit random, because after having my head injury and after I recovered from it, I didn't know many people in the art world. I was in Berlin, and I didn't know many people in the art world in Berlin. And but I knew a lot of people in music. So someone I know from the music world, one of the managers I had, put me in contact with this brand that does urban hoodies. They're really cool urban hoodies and stuff. And we started a collaboration, and I designed Mini Gabi wearing their hoodie. And they were really underground, they are really cool. And they just have this sticker kind of thing. They just put the stickers all over Berlin. So one day I went out with them putting the stickers of their brand, of the brand with Mini Gabi wearing their jumper. And I really enjoyed it, and it just and then when I came to London, I started with stickers, and before I noticed, I was pasting, and I was doing the paste ups. I quite like the paste ups as well, because it's a way of bringing stuff, mixed media artwork, bringing it into the streets, as well as working with the spray paint. You can work, the collage and different elements, and they're quite quirky. I think they bring a little bit of fun into the streets. So that's how I got into the paste ups. It was a bit random, it came from the sticker. Thank you, Stuart, that was amazing. Before I go, can I just say thank you to Global Street Art for this wall support. It was amazing. Thank you very much, because giving me this opportunity, especially after COVID, to paint here. Big shout out to Global Street Art team. And thanks, Stuart. I love your blog. It's brilliant to be here. Thank you very much.